Mr. Arsha Ishwaraya, who is the moderator, who is the speaker of this session, and is working with CMR University from July 2021, and he has been working in CMR as in, and also is pursuing his PhD in Presidency University. And he has been trained thousands of students on building their self-confidence, improving communication skills, group discussions, personal interview and leadership skills. And several of his students have been placed in reputed organizations all over India. Strong believer of teamwork and continuous learning. And he has compared various cultural events, at the university like Founders Day, Freshers Day, Sports Day, Meraki, etc. And he also trains students on public speaking skills and is an erudite academician with high caliber and overall extensive experience of nearly 17 plus years in developing results-driven curriculum and delivering skills-based enthusiasm training to make them employable in the professional world to a wide range of students. And also he is extensively exposure in facilitating social and intellectual growth of students by creating an atmosphere of mutual respect in students, and he is able to connect very well with young minds and nurture them along with fostering the development to their utmost potential and helping them to face the challenges, and also a good communicator with students and parents, demonstrating a caring and empathetic attitude, promoting the welfare of the university by enhancing staff efficiency and productivity. The topic of this session is he's going to speak on how to speak effectively in group discussion. So, over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Very good evening. Thank you very much, Shobha ma'am, for this wonderful introduction. I really appreciate this. Before I start, can you all see me and hear me clearly, ladies and gentlemen? If you can give me an acknowledgement that you can see me and hear
Yes,
me
sir.
clearly, I'll be great.
Yes, sir. You are clearly
Okay.
audible, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Pankaj sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shobha ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Joyson sir, for this opportunity. Before I start my session, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Narsimurthy sir, who is my PhD co-guide. Narsimurthy sir, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for attending the session, sir. I really appreciate this. Thank you, sir. Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So let's quickly dive into the session. So I will be talking about a GD or a group discussion. As you are aware, GD, it's a very important part in the entire recruitment process. So typically what happens is, we have 3 rounds. We have what is known as the aptitude round. The students clear the aptitude round. Then they get into the GD or the group discussion round. And once you clear the GD, you get into the last round, which is known as the PI or the personal interview. And then once you clear the PI, you will be getting the offer letter in hand. So that is how typically the recruitment process happens in all organizations. And in today's session, I will be speaking or I will be focusing on an important aspect in the recruitment process, which is known as GD or the group discussion. So let me quickly share my screen with all of you. Can you all see my screen?
No, sir.
No? Okay, hold on. Just 1 second. Give me a second. I am not very comfortable with Google Meet because I usually use Zoom. Okay, that's not an issue. Just give me 1 second, please. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Can you see? Okay. Fantastic. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. So let's quickly start the session. So as you are aware, I'll be talking about GD or group discussion. So I will be focusing for the next about 45 minutes to 1 hour on GD. And once the session is over, I will be more than happy to take any questions as well. If you have any questions, you can stop me anytime and you can ask me. It's going to be a mutually interactive session. So all of you are experienced people. So it's a mixed audience. So, please feel free to interact whenever you wish to. Okay. So, what is a GD? What is a GD or what is a group discussion? To put it in words, ladies and gentlemen, GD is nothing but uh, a group of people getting together and discussing on a particular topic. I repeat, to put it in simple words, a GD or a group discussion is nothing but a group of people coming together and discussing on a particular topic or a particular issue, right? And as I told you a short while ago, in the corporate world, in the organizations, before they hire candidates, one of the most important rounds is the GD or the group discussion round. And at this point, let me make it very clear that GD is an elimination round. The purpose of GD is to eliminate candidates who are not good in English, who are not good in communication, etc. And then they take only the best candidates of the group to the next round, to the last round, which is the PI or the personal interview round. So this acts like an elimination round. So GD also is a tool to study the behavioral responses of the participants as well as their attitudes, the way they think, the way they speak, the way they work as a team, so on and so forth. So popularly known as GD. And in all walks of life, we have a group discussion. When you want to buy something, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to watch a movie. So always, we have a discussion. We discuss with our friends, family, so on and so forth. So the point I'm making is GD plays a very, very important role in our day-to-day life. Okay, let's move forward. Now, what is a GD all about? What is a GD or a group discussion all about? So GD is more like a reflection of how corporate setting works, how teams work together towards a decision or an outcome. So as you are aware, dear friends, in the corporate world, you'll be having a lot of meetings, lot of discussions. You sit together, you brainstorm. Some points, what you say, people may agree, people may disagree. But generally, in the office environment, in the corporate environment, you always discuss and then you arrive at a mutually amicable solution. So that is why GD is extremely important. And also, let me tell you, dear friends, all the GDs, you may or may not reach a consensus depending on the topic. If it's an abstract topic, you may not reach a conclusion, you may not reach a consensus. That's fine. All the GDs may not reach its logical conclusion. It's more of a discussion where you present your views, you present your thoughts, you present your opinion on a particular topic. So that is what GD is all about. Let's move forward. What is the pattern which is usually followed in the GD? So what is the pattern typically followed in the GD? So let me break this down for the benefit of all of you on how a typical GD happens. Ladies and gentlemen, usually there will be anywhere between 8 to 10 people per group. I repeat, usually there will be about 8 to 10 people, 8 to 10 strangers in one room, typically. And then what happens? The moderator, he gives you one topic. He gives you a topic and then you are expected to start the group discussion. So one topic is given and usually a typical GD happens for anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes. So it could also vary depending on the number of teams, depending on the company procedure, company policy, so on and so forth. There are no hard and fast rules, but typically a normal GD happens for anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes. And so to break it down further, as a speaker, you may get about 1.5 to 2 minutes maximum to present your views. I repeat, in a GD, typically, if there are about 8 to 10 people, you may get anywhere between 1.5 to 2 minutes to present your views, to present your thoughts. So you have to be very, very sharp during the GD. Okay. And then once the topic is given, you will be given to prepare as well. Anywhere between 4 or 5 minutes, you will be given to prepare. It is always recommended that you have a book with you, or you have a book and a pen, you write down the topic, and you just start making some bullet points, whatever comes to your mind. A few minutes to prepare, and then you start the GD. And then obviously you have to introduce yourself. Good evening everyone, my name is Mr. Harsha Ashwaraya, and today's topic is so and so, and you get into the GD. So typically what happens, anywhere you have between 8 to 10 people, the topic is given, and the time duration is about 15 to 20 minutes per GD. Once the topic is given by the moderator or by the recruiter, you have a few minutes to prepare, about 4 or 5 minutes, and then he says, please start the GD, and he takes a back seat, and then the team takes over. So, and then you have a brief introduction before you get into the discussion, where you introduce yourself. Please ensure that while you are speaking in the GD, you introduce yourself. Why? Because as I told you a short while earlier, you will be speaking in a room full of strangers. So it's your responsibility to introduce yourself before you express your views. Now, let's move forward and let us see what is the checklist. So what is the checklist they have? The examiners or the recruiters checklist to evaluate you. Objective is to see how the candidate behaves in a team setting. So when you're in a group of people, group of strangers, how do you behave? How do you react? They will be observing that very, very closely. That's number one. Number two, also whether the candidate has any specific qualities that the company prefers. The company may be looking for whether he has skills, good leadership skills, does he take initiatives, is he a good team player. All organizations want such kind of people in their workforce. So the recruiters, they will be looking at all these things very, very closely. They will not tell it to you, but they will be observing all this extremely closely, ladies and gentlemen. Also, the third thing which the examiner or the recruiter will be looking is your soft skills or your communication skills and the ability to cope with various situations, because sometimes GDs get very emotional. It could turn into a debate. There could be a lot of friction, etc. How do you handle difficult or different situations when you come across? So this is the checklist which the examiner / recruiter will be having, and they will be observing the candidates very, very closely. So before I go forward, friends, are you all with me? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Are you with me? Yes. If anybody can acknowledge me. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, let us see what are the areas of evaluation in a GD. So what are the areas you will be assessed on? Number one is your knowledge level. So how good you are in the subject, in the topic. So that is the first thing which you will be evaluated on. That's number one. Number two, your language skills. So how good you are in English. Usually all GDs will be held in English. And as you're aware, English is the preferred means of communication all over the world. So they want to see how fluent, how good you are. That's number two. Number three is your clarity of thoughts. Extremely, extremely important, dear friends. Sometimes what happens in my experience, I've seen several students, several candidates, they're very good technically, they have the stuff here, but unfortunately, they are not able to express themselves well. And that is where, it's very difficult to clear the GD or, go to the next round. So they will be observing your clarity of thoughts. What is in your mind? Are you able to express that well? So they will be observing that very, very closely. Next, number four, your leadership skills. So do you have those leadership qualities in you? Can you take the GD forward? Can you give some examples? Can you moderate the GD? Do you have those leadership qualities in you? They will be observing that very closely as well. Number five, willingness to take initiatives. So, are you a person who just sits back and wait for others to speak? Or are you a kind of person who initiates the conversation, takes the GD forward? They observe all these things very, very closely as well. Number six is decision making. Are you able to take decisions, or are you sit on the fence? So what kind of a personality you are, they'll be observing this as well. Number seven, conflict handling. Very, very important, dear friends. Sometimes what happens, as I told you a short while ago, a GD could turn into a debate depending on the topic. If it's an emotional topic, a sensitive topic, the situation could go out of hand. And are you able to resolve that amicably? Conflict handling. Do you have that quality in you? They'll be observing that. And then team skills. So are you a good team player, or do you want to have your way only? There are some people who say, I am right and everybody is wrong. It's either my way. No, companies do not want such people. Companies want people who are good team players. They're willing to accept other people's viewpoint as well and not only stick to their opinion. Do you have that quality in you? They'll be observing that. Number nine is flexibility of thoughts. You can't be very rigid in a GD. There is nothing called right or wrong. It's just you're expressing your views on that particular topic. That's it. So are you flexible in your thought process? And at the same time, are you assertive as well? You have to be assertive, and most important, your communication skills. So these are the areas of evaluation in a GD. And then finally, your listening skills as well. Communication, dear friends, is not only about speaking. You need to be a good listener as well. Are you listening to other people's viewpoints, or are you just focused on speaking only? They observe this as well. And then your body language as well, because you have to have open hand gestures, make proper eye contact. So all this comes under, you need to smile, look at everybody in the GD. So these are typically the areas of evaluation in a GD. In short, to summarize all those different 13 parameters, it comes down to these 5 questions. What do you know? Plus, how do you say it? Are you a leader? Are you a problem solver? And can you be a team player? And how do you communicate with others? To put it in simple words, all those 12 to 13 different parameters which we saw in the previous slide, it comes down to these 5 points or these 5 questions. How do you know? How do you say it? How do you express it? Are you a leader? Can you be a problem solver? Are you a good team player? And how do you speak or communicate with others? So these are the, comes down to these 5 questions. Now, let's move forward and see what are the kind of topics you will be seeing in a GD. So what are the kind of topics which you will get in a GD? So broadly, these are the different types of topics, a general topic or a factual topic. They could also give you a controversial topic, about religion, about politics, some controversial topic they would give you. Or they could also give you a case study. They could give you a case study or an abstract topic. For example, they could say, all that glitters is not gold. It's an abstract topic. The topic could be red. That's it. The topic is red. You have to speak on that for 15 minutes. That is the GD time. So these, general topic, controversial topic, a political, religious topic, a case study, or an abstract or a random topic. So it depends on the company policy. So topics can be from current affairs, it could be political topics, it could be on economics, science and technology, education, international topics, environment, social issues, so on and so forth. So topics can be from a wide range. There is no hard and fast rule that they have to give topics on this only. So it depends. So, it could be from current affairs to politics to sports, economics, education, social issues, technology, any burning issues, pressing issues, trending issues, so on and so forth. Next, now is the important part of the presentation. How do you actually build your points for the GD? So you enter the room, you sit down, you're comfortable, the topic is given to you, 4 minutes is given to prepare as well. How do you build your points to speak in the GD? As I told you, dear friends, typically you may get only about 1.5 to 2 minutes. So in that short time frame, you have to impress. You have to make the most of it in those 1.5 to 2 minutes. Otherwise, you will go home, period. I repeat, if you don't speak in the GD or if you don't communicate well in the GD, you go home. Because as I told you a short while ago, GD is nothing but an elimination round. So there could be 8 to 10 people, and only sometimes 1 or 2 people may go through the PI round. I have been a part of several GDs. I have conducted GDs. I have participated in GDs. So I know what I'm talking about. So they are very, very merciless. They're very ruthless in the GD rounds. So, it's clear elimination. Okay, so how do you build points for the GD? Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important to structure the points. You organize your thoughts, organize the points. How do you do that? Number one, a good way or an easy way is to start by asking the why. Why is it all about? Try to find out the root cause of the topic, what has caused this issue. That's number one. Number two, try to explore the history of the topic, find out the people who triggered the issue. If you have time, if you can do some quick research, get into the background. Number three, which is most commonly used, is discuss the pros and cons and offer your perspectives. You can speak about the pros and cons and then offer your perspectives, but it's always recommended that you take a stand in the GD. And then number four, use supporting statistics, examples, numbers, data, etc., depending on the topic. Let's take it forward. Also define the topic. Why is it necessary? What are the facts, the history, who was affected, who invented, who will be affected, who can solve it, how does it change, and so on and so forth. For this, ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you a very important technique, which is known as 5W1H technique. So this technique, I repeat, is known as 5W1H technique. You can use this to speak well in your group discussion rounds. So what does it stand for? 5W1H: who, what, where, when, why, and how. I repeat, who, what, where, when, why, and how. So you can use this technique and then you can speak effectively in the GD or in the group discussion round. Now, typically, ladies and gentlemen, a GD will have 3 parts to it. A GD will have 3 parts to it. The first is known as the starting of the GD or you initiating the GD. So that is the first part of the GD. The second part is the middle part of the GD, where you get into the discussion to present your views on the topic, the middle part. And then finally, you have what is known as the end or the conclusion. And it is recommended that you speak either in the beginning or at the middle or at the end. But please, for heaven's sake, please speak whenever you get the opportunity. That's very important. So, as I told you, as a participant, as a speaker, you can play 3 roles. You can either initiate the GD or open the GD, or you can join the discussion, join the GD in the middle. You can be the second, third, fourth speaker, depending on when you get the opportunity. That's number two. And number three, if that is not possible, conclude the discussion as well. So you can speak anywhere. You can either initiate, or you can moderate, or join in the middle, or you can conclude the discussion. You can take up any of these three roles, whichever is comfortable for you. So now let us see, how do you initiate a GD? So how do you start a GD? How do you initiate the GD? So let us go ahead and see about, let us go a little more deep into how do you initiate a GD. So please note, dear friends, that initiating is it's like a gamble. It's like, if you initiate well, fantastic. People appreciate you, people look up to you. You set the pace of the GD, you set the tone of the GD, and then that's a wonderful way of opening, a wonderful way of getting the attention of the audience, of the recruiters, and your fellow speakers as well. So you're setting the stage for the topic to develop. You are the first one to present your views. It's like presenting on a new slate. You can take the GD the way you want to. That's number one. Number two, the advantage of initiating a GD, you get uninterrupted time to present your points because you're the first speaker. So comfortably for maybe 2, sometimes 3 minutes also, you will be able to speak. You will get uninterrupted time to present your points because you are the first person who is speaking in the GD. Number three, it can also fetch you brownie points. People will be impressed because you have the confidence to initiate the GD. The recruiters immediately observe you very, very closely, and they make a note of it, your name and who initiated the GD. So as I told you, initiating a GD, it invites the attention of the examiner and the others. You are the spotlight. And if it can establish a great impression if done right. I repeat, the key word here is if done right. So you have to be very, very sure, you have to be very, very confident that you have enough points to speak for at least 1.5 to 2 minutes. If not, please do not initiate the GD. Okay, as I told you, if your opening is weak, if you speak only for 20-30 seconds and then hand over the mantle to somebody else, it's an irreparable damage. It's a very, very poor opening, a very poor initiation, and you lose out on a golden opportunity to establish your point, and due to which, unfortunately, you may not get selected to go to the PI round. So ladies and gentlemen, initiate the GD only if you are comfortable, only if you are confident, and only if you have the capacity to speak for a good 2 to 3 minutes. If not, if the topic is difficult, you're not sure, just relax. Somebody else can initiate, and then you can, come in a little later. We'll be going to that as well in the next further slides as well. Now, let me give you some tips on how to initiate a GD. So let me share with you some techniques or some tips on how to initiate in the GD. You can try any of these. So you can please start off with a quote. That's a wonderful way to get the attention of the audience. So you can start off with a quote. You can give some facts or numbers, statistics. You can also share a small real life incident, an anecdote, a story briefly from a real life incident, and then get into the topic. So you can try any of these techniques, whichever is comfortable for you, whatever comes to your mind at that time, and then you can initiate the GD. You can open the GD, or also you can share a personal experience as well. Now, let us see an example here. As you can see, dear friends, if the topic given to you is women are better leaders, so that is the topic of the group discussion. women are better leaders. So how do you start off? You can say, before I get into the quote, you can say, good evening, everyone. My name is Mr. Harsha Aishwaraya, and today's topic is women are better leaders. So, in my view, women are better leaders because they are good in multitasking. They can do a lot of things. They manage the home and the family as well. Points. That is one way of initiating the GD. Is that good? That's not bad. That's how everyone does it. But how do you stand out from the crowd? How do you impress the recruiter? You can use a quote. For example, you can say, a woman is the full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. Good morning, everyone. My name is Harsha Aishwaraya, and the topic of today's group discussion is women are better leaders. And then get into the topic. One more example. Women are the real architects of society. Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Harsha, and the topic of today's group discussion is women are better leaders. So that a quote is a very, very powerful way of initiating a GD. Some facts, numbers, studies, you can also do this. So as per the Forbes research, women leaders outperform crisis, how the countries like New Zealand, the New Zealand Prime Minister, how they handled the COVID crisis, etc. You can just give some quotes, some facts. So according to a business review, female leaders expressed more awareness of fears that followers might be feeling, concern for well-being and confidence in their plans. So you can give a fact or a quote, numbers, statistics, real life incident, personal experience, so on and so forth. You can talk about your mother, sister, the teacher, how they have helped you. As you can see here, growing up, I've always been seen my mother being a manager, caretaker, teacher, so on and so forth. So a short personal incident, a short real life incident, and then quickly get into the topic. Women are better leaders. So these are some of the examples, some of the ways in which you can initiate a GD. You can start with a quote, you can give some numbers, some facts, some real life example, personal experience, and so forth. Whatever is comfortable for you, whatever works for you, you can use this. But please note, before you initiate a GD, please ensure that you understand the topic well. So take your time, understand what the topic is all about. So this is a common mistake which I see students do. They don't understand the topic, they derail, they deviate from the topic. So please be careful, understand the topic very well, be clear what you want to say. So gain clarity on the topic, ensure there is no confusion, be clear on what the topic is, gather your thoughts, please focus, no distractions, please gather your thoughts and pen them down. So please write down your thoughts. As I told you, it's very important that you take a pen and a notepad to the GD room and then pen down your thoughts. So write down your thoughts, write down the bullet points, and then you can elaborate and then you can expand as well. Stay on the topic, do not deviate or do not derail the discussion. Very, very important. So do not deviate from the topic, do not derail the discussion. So please keep the topic in mind, please keep the context in mind and speak on that only. That is very, very important. Initiate the GD only if you have enough knowledge about it. As I told you, if you're not comfortable, if you're not sure, if you don't have sufficient points to initiate, please don't do that. Take a back seat, let somebody else do it, and then you can come in later. But if you have the confidence, go ahead and do it. It will really help you to get an advantage and get a strong foothold in the GD. Now we spoke about the initiation part, we spoke about the starting part. Now let's move forward and focus on the middle part of the GD or the group discussion or joining the discussion. Now, when do you join a GD? So when do you join a GD? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone unmute and can you please tell me when do you join a GD? Anyone? When do you join a GD? Okay, no, no problem. So let me help you. So when do you join a GD, dear friends? You please join the GD at the first available opportunity. So, somebody's initiated the GD, and once the person stops speaking, you can quickly jump in. So, whenever you get the opportunity, you have to speak. So, if you don't get the opportunity, you have to create the opportunity. So what happens if all the speakers are good? You may not get the opportunity. So, if you don't get it, you have to create that. How do you do that? For example, you can say, excuse me, may I say something? May I come in? So please raise your hands and tell that can I come in now? And when there is a pause, immediately jump in and get into the group discussion when there is a pause. Also, you can also join when the energy level goes down in the room. When people get a little tired, when there are not enough points, when there is silence, you can immediately get into the GD. Also, when you can also get into the GD when you have different points or new points to add. Do not repeat the same points. If when you have different points, when you have different perspectives, different opinions, new points to add, please do join the group discussion. And also, examiner or the recruiter calls your name. Sometimes what happens in the virtual GD, in the virtual group discussion, they will call your name. They will say, the recruiter will say, Mr. Harsha, can you please share your thoughts on the topic? So they will definitely call out your name. So when they call out your name, you have to be prepared. You cannot say, I will speak later. So if they call out your name, you can definitely join and speak as well. So you can speak at the first available opportunity, or when there is some silence in the room, when the energy goes down, when you want to add new points, or when the recruiter, when he calls out your name loudly, you can definitely join the GD. Now, please join the GD with a different direction. So, for example, you can use these quotes. You can say, while the advantages are many, let's look at the disadvantages. And then you can, get into, you can speak about the disadvantages based on the topic. Or you can also say, what we forget to address. Now, when you're agreeing with somebody, you can say, I fully agree with you. I agree with my friend, Mr. Roy. What you say, sir, is absolutely true. Or you can also say, adding on to what Neha or whatever that person is, adding on to what my fellow panelists said, adding on to what Neha said, and then you jump in with your viewpoints. Now, when you disagree with the speaker, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to agree with everyone. You definitely can disagree. You can have a different view. But remember, this is a GD. This is not a debate. So don't turn this into an Arnab Goswami show. It's not a debate. You cannot say you are right and I am only right. You are wrong. How can you say this? No, no, no. So please control your emotions. So if you disagree with a speaker, that is absolutely fine. Or if somebody disagrees with you, that's absolutely what you need to say. I have a different take on this. I respect your view, but I have a different opinion. I have a different view. I do not completely agree with the speaker. You can say this and then you can join the GD. But remember, this is a GD and not a debate. Please be very, very careful about this. Now, this is very common. What do you do if you do not know anything about the topic? It happens very, very often. I have seen several students who are clueless in the GD because they have no idea what the topic is all about. So if you do not know anything about the topic, what do? Relax. First and foremost, don't panic, relax. It's okay. So don't panic, please relax. It's fine. If you don't know about the topic, it is okay. Don't panic, number one. Now your listening skills. So keep your eyes and ears open. Be very, very sharp. Be very, very attentive throughout the duration of the GD. Use your listening and comprehension skills. So just pick up the points what the other people are speaking, write that down, and then add your own points. Add an example, add your own points, and get into the GD. but please ensure that you speak. Do not stay quiet. If you stay quiet, you go home. So please don't do this. So don't panic, stay calm, stay focused, be a good listener, and then write down the bullet points, what the other people have spoken, and then add your own points and then speak. Pay close attention to others' points so that they can be developed further. Please, as I told you, keep your eyes and ears open, see what the other people are speaking, pick up a couple of points, and then you can add your own and speak on this as well. Rephrase them in your own way and add a personal touch as well. And note down any new point that comes across your mind. So if you don't know anything about the topic, it's okay. It happens. It's very common. So what do you need to do? Don't initiate. That's number one. Number two, speak towards the middle of the GD. Let a few people speak. Don't panic. Be a good listener. Pay attention to other people's points. Write down, rephrase them in your own way, and then note down any new points that comes across your mind. But you have to be extremely sharp. So be extremely focused. So keep your eyes and ears open if you don't know anything about the topic. We spoke about the start, we spoke about the middle also. Now, let us go to the last part. Let us go to the ending. How do you close or how do you conclude the GD or the group discussion? For an effective conclusion of a GD, be alert. Please listen to what everybody is saying and understand their viewpoints. Summarize on behalf of the whole group. I repeat, you have to summarize on behalf of the whole group. The common mistake which students do, I have seen, is they summarize only on their behalf. They give their views and close the GD. No, you are closing, you are concluding, you are summarizing on behalf of the entire group. So you have to pick up one point of each person. How many of them agreed with the topic? How many of them disagreed with the topic? So just pick up one point and then thank everybody and close the GD. So as I told you, make notes of the important points in the GD, what each person spoke, make down some notes, highlight them, speak about them while concluding, include the points that were raised by other speakers because as I told you, you on behalf of the entire group. So include the points of every speaker, but do not add a new point. Do not add your own points at the end, not required. You are closing the GD. So do not add any new points. Again, a common mistake I have seen in students, they add their points also, not required. You are closing, you are concluding the GD. You have to summarize on behalf of the whole group. Do not add any new points or new inputs, and then you have to close the GD. Summarize in a precise and a crisp manner, and then as far as possible provide a sensible conclusion to the discussion. So that is how you close the GD. So be alert, keep your eyes and ears open, write down the important points, highlight the points of each speaker, do not add any new points, and finally summarize, close, and thank the audience, recruiters, thank the fellow panelists, and then you smile and you close the GD. So conclusion also about 2 minutes. So in about 1.5 to 2 minutes, you are expected to close the GD. Now, let's move forward. Some do's in the GD. Let me share with you some do's and don'ts as well. So what you should do and what you should not do. Some bonus points for the benefit of the audience. So if you disagree, please disagree politely. That's very important. Please keep your emotions in check, emotions in control. Learn to disagree politely. There is no hard and fast rule that everybody must agree with you. It is absolutely fine. In the corporate world also, when you put your thoughts, when you put your ideas, your boss may refuse it. Your colleagues may refuse your idea. That's okay. That's how it happens in the real world as well. And GD is a practice place for that. So learn to disagree politely and professionally. Number one. Number two, be open-minded about other people's views. No, it's okay. They may not agree with you. That's fine. So be open-minded with other people's opinion as well. Number three, Take initiatives. Remember, I told you in the beginning itself, they'll be focusing on how many initiatives are you taking good initiatives. So please keep this in mind and try to speak at least 2 to 3 times. If you speak twice, that's wonderful. 3 times is a bonus. You will not get that in the real GD. So once definitely you have to speak. If not, twice is fantastic. So try to speak at least 2 times. Sometimes if the people speakers are not good, if you get a chance to speak multiple times, grab the opportunity with both hands and try to speak multiple times. Number 4, if there is chaos, it's very common. Sometimes GD turns into a debate. I have seen many GDs where they get personal, a debate, they get into arguments. So please avoid this. The GD turns into a debate. Have patience, relax, control your emotions, and moderate if possible. Moderate means, you can say, excuse me, friends, can we all stick to the topic, please? Let's not have any deviation. So try to moderate, try to calm emotions. That shows leadership qualities and situational awareness as well. So please moderate and have patience if the GD turns chaotic. Next point, some do's in the GD: speak loudly and clearly. Everybody in the room should be able to hear you. So speak loudly, clearly, confidently, because that is one of the things they'll be observing very closely, your communication skills and your confidence. So please take care of this. Pay attention to your body language. Very important. It could be an online GD or it could be an offline GD, but please pay to your body language. Sit straight, back upright, shoulders upright, maintain eye contact with everybody, smile at the audience, smile at the moderator, smile at your fellow participants. But body language, very important. Sit straight, back upright, don't sit like this, sit straight, shoulders upright, back upright, have open hand gestures and speak. So body language, very important. Collect the important points in the given topic and use them. So whatever points you have collected, you have written it down, use them accordingly, and be relevant to the topic and don't discuss irrelevantly. So don't deviate from the topic, don't go all over the place. So stick to the realms of the topic and speak on the topic only, and listen carefully. Again, a common mistake which many students do: once they speak, they feel, okay, my job is done, and they just switch off from the GD. Please don't do that mistake. So listen very when other people also are speaking, because you always, you never know, you could get some new points from others, and then you could present your thoughts as well. So be a good listener in the GD, and as far as possible, try to contribute throughout the discussion. So 2 times, 3 times, depending how, as many times as possible, please try to speak. But in the real world, if there are good speakers, you may not get an opportunity more than 2 times. So please make the most of it. In my view, you have to imagine, or you have to assume that I will get only one opportunity and make the most of it. So because, as I told you, it's a limited time duration, so it's a very competitive, it's a cutthroat, so everybody wants to go to the PI round. So you have to try to make the most of that 1.5 or 2 minutes. So don't assume that I will speak later, I may get another opportunity. That will not happen in the real world. So that is how it goes. Those were the do's. Now let us turn our attention to the don'ts. So what you should not do in the GD. So some don'ts as well. Let us focus on the don'ts. Don't be overtly aggressive. It's a GD, it's not a debate, for heaven's sake. So don't be overtly aggressive. That is considered very rude, very unprofessional. So please don't be very aggressive. Control your emotions. So don't lose your calm, emotions and feelings. So stay calm, stay in control of your emotions, especially when people disagree with you. When people have a different view, or when you have a different view from the other person, don't get into a debate, don't get into an argument, don't lose your calm, control your emotions and feelings. Don't repeat the topic which is already brought up. So don't keep telling the same things over and over again. So please keep adding new points. So don't repeat which was already spoken by the previous speaker. Very important. Don't fabricate data or facts. So don't give wrong numbers, wrong statistics. If you are not sure, don't give. It's fine. But whatever numbers you're speaking, whatever data, facts, statistics, that has to be accurate. If not, please do not give wrong or incorrect information. Next, do not dismiss others or use sarcastic comments. Don't have this know-it-all attitude. I know everything. I am superior. So don't have that kind of a mindset. So please respect everybody. So don't dismiss other people's views or use sarcastic comments, sly comments. Don't do that. Don't highlight your points alone. It's a group discussion. Okay, it's everybody has to speak. Everybody is equal. So don't highlight your points alone. Give an opportunity for others also to speak. Do not make personal attacks on other participants. Very important. So don't make any personal attacks about them. It's very rude. Do not bring in religion, the person's religion, etc. Don't bring in religion during the GD. Please stay away from it. That's where the problem starts. Do not block or prevent others from speaking. Allow the other person to speak, let him finish, and then you can jump in and speak. You can always raise your hands and then you can speak. There'll always be a moderator who will help you to speak as well. So, but do not interrupt others, do not block others from speaking, and do not derail the conversation. So as I told you, do not deviate from the topic, stick to the topic and discuss. So these are some of the don'ts. Also, do not use foul language, unprofessional or informal language. That is not a good idea, dear friends. Bad language, informal slangs, etc. Please don't do that. It's a formal group discussion. So please keep the context in mind and speak very, very professionally. So don't use bad language. That is a big no-no. If you are casual, if you use informal language like bro, I've seen especially students. Hey bro, I agree with you. Don't say words like bro, buddy, dude. So please don't use these words. So that's very informal. Also, foul or unprofessional words. Please avoid using this in the GD. Now, this was what in the offline GD. Now, thanks to the pandemic, thanks to COVID, everything has gone online. Your recruitment, your aptitude tests, working from home, classes, everything has gone online. We are all taking classes from home. We are all working from home. In the same way, even the GD or the group discussion also has gone online, has gone virtual. Now, let us see what you need to do when you are faced with an online GD, some new trends in online group discussion. So what happens? Each participant is asked to speak for 1 or 2 minutes. It may not be like an actual GD. It may not be a face-to-face GD. So what happens? The moderator gives you the topic and he tells, please speak on the topic for 1 or 2 minutes. Also, multiple entries may not be allowed. Very important. So you have to be very, very aware or careful of this. You may not get an opportunity to speak 2-3 times in the virtual GD. You may get only one opportunity. So please make the most of it. Also, in the online GD, the moderator or the examiner or the recruiter, he might decide the order. So if there are 8 people, he may tell you who will speak when. He may decide, there may be already be pre-decided. You cannot do anything about it. You have to speak when you get the opportunity in the online GD. And online video etiquette to be followed. Even though the GD is online, please ensure that you follow the proper online video etiquette. Make sure you're well groomed. There's no background noise. There is no disturbance. The background is good. The light falls on you. There is no disturbance. Internet is good. Your laptop battery is good. So please ensure that there is proper online video etiquette as well. Camera to be turned on. Stay on mute when others are speaking. Don't disturb the others. You can use emojis, you can use the chat box, display positive body language, proper eye contact, look into the webcam and speak, gestures, expressions, so on and so forth. In other words, please ensure that you follow proper online video etiquette as well. So friends, online, please remember to familiarize yourself with the platform and the controls. It could be on Zoom, it could be on Skype, it could be on Google Meet, Microsoft Teams. So whatever the platform is, please get comfortable with the platform and the controls. Do some mocks, dress professionally, check the microphone and camera. You can always ask, can you see me? Can you hear me clearly? Like I did at the beginning of the session. And then you can speak. Use the controls, emoticons, raise a hand, join a conversation, etc. Please use them. And very important, please be on mute if others are speaking. So don't disturb the audience, don't disturb the flow of the GD. Once you speak, please be on mute. And then when you want to speak, unmute yourself and start presenting your views as well. And keep the camera on throughout the discussion. Again, a common mistake I've seen many people do, many students do. Once they finish speaking, they switch off the camera and somewhere. Not a good idea at all. Very, very unprofessional. So throughout the duration of the GD, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however long the GD goes on, please ensure that you keep the camera on throughout the discussion and participate and involve as much as possible. Do not turn the camera off once you have finished speaking. Be careful about your body language and behavior. So very important. So please be careful, as we've spoken about this. So please be careful about your body language and behavior as well. Some general tips, some general guidelines for everyone. Be confident, raise relevant points, back them up with evidence. Build your knowledge, very, very important. So you have to improve your knowledge base. So read books, newspapers, blogs, articles, watch documentaries, watch the news. Please be aware of what is happening in your city, in your state, in your country, the world. So please be aware. The more aware you are, it's better for you, because usually current affairs topics will be given. Again, I say usually because there's no hard and fast rule. Usually a popular topic, a trending topic will be given. So please, update your knowledge as much as possible. Improve your vocabulary, practice some jams, just minutes. Put forth your points precisely and clearly, and use simple English. Please don't use Shashi Tharoor English. It's not required. Please use simple, easy to understand language so that everybody in the room is able to understand you clearly. So don't complicate things. Keep it short and simple. Just simple English, simple words, so that everybody can understand. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, it's almost 8 o'clock now. I've taken 1 hour. So as per the time, I've kept up my time. If you have any questions, any doubts, any clarifications, etc., please ask me. More than happy to answer.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, Ramanik sir. Please go ahead.
I am Ramanik, sir.
Yes, Ramanik sir. Please go ahead.
Really happy, sir. The topic. Really happy, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
According to the English language literature, for this literature point of view, how can utilize the student or intermediate students?
So, sorry, sir. Can you come again? There was a lot of. I could not hear you clearly.
According to degree level or intermediate level, according to Andhra Pradesh, for this literature students, for literature or English first method, and the PG, MPhil English, and PhD English. For the group discussion point of view, for this main role, those concepts are covered. Then can use discussion role for my views for the management techniques. For the literature point of view, not covered. That's my question.
So if I understand right, from a literature point of view, how can students speak in the GD? Is that right, sir?
Sir, yes, sir. For this group discussion.
Okay, from a literature point of view, and as I told you, please read, please update your knowledge. So please be aware, please read, please be confident. learn point. See, in the GD, typically they will not give you, literature topics. From my experience, at least, they will not give you literature topics. It is more of current affairs, more of politics, or sports, technology. Those are the topics which will be given in the GD. They will
For
not give you, usually, from my experience. So they will not give such literature
Yes, sir.
topics only, sir, because it is for the corporate world. They don't give such kind of topics, because you have a varied audience. You have audience of, you have candidates of different backgrounds, different educational qualifications, etc. So usually topics will be general. They will not be literature related topics. So
Yes.
do I make sense? Did I
As,
answer your question, sir?
group discussions purpose conducted only for that. If any conducted for the literature people, this point will be not covered. Only for biography, novel, autobiography, for the poet, prose, fiction. Those are there. No, he is not covered. That's why I ask you, sir.
That's what I told you. GD, unfortunately, at least from my experience, they will not cover it, because it is to hire students, to hire young graduates. It could be engineers, MBAs, BA, BSc, BCom. So irrespective of the degree, it's to hire people for the corporate world. Literature topics
Yes.
may not be given. That's, at least I have not come across. So it's more of general topics. They just want to see your communication skills, sir. They just want to see how good you are in speaking. They just want to see how good you are in presenting your thoughts, your confidence, your leadership skills. So they are focusing on all these skills primarily. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, literature people point of this group discussion, I think literature point of view, the group discussions is necessary for the future.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is definitely important. But yeah. Thank you,
Education.
sir. Okay.
For this, not related. That is the problem.
Okay, sir. Okay. I respect your views, sir. Fine. Okay. Friends, I have also shared with you on the chat box. One second, I will share a couple of video links, please. So I wanted to play it, but unfortunately, due to lack of time, I cannot do that. So I am sharing that link with you. I request you to please check that later. A couple of group discussion techniques, do's and don'ts, some interesting videos are there. So I have shared that link with you on the chat box. I request you to please use them and see them later as well. Okay. So any other questions, doubts? Anuradha ma'am says to use GD as a tool in the English class. The literature topics could include, that's what Anuradha ma'am is saying. As
Yes, sir.
yes, ma'am.
Good
Please.
evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
I think sir was trying to say that GD in the English classroom, critical analysis of some poetry can be done, or like you can say humor in R.K. Narayan's novels. So that
Okay.
would be the topic for discussion, and you can take it forward in the format of GD.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely. Thank you, Anuradha ma'am. But I was focusing more on the corporate world, more on the employability factor, Anuradha ma'am, and the whole class. So I was focusing more on that.
Definitely, sir. This is since it was related to sir's question, like how he wants to use GD as a tool in his classroom. That's
Yes,
what
ma'am.
I
No,
get.
thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
ma'am. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir.
Any other questions, dear friends? Any other questions, doubts? Any feedback about the session? Please go ahead and and share your views, share your thoughts. I'll be happy to receive feedback and answer. Okay, if there are no questions, thank you very much, everyone, for being a wonderful audience. Thank you, sir, Nasimurthy, sir, in particular, for attending the session. Thank you, Anuradha, ma'am. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, sir, Frank Joyson, sir, for the opportunity. Before I close, let me tell you, GD is a very important aspect in the entire recruitment process. So please encourage your students to speak, to participate, to interact, to build their knowledge. And GD, you can give any topic and then just ask them to speak. That will improve their confidence, their communication skills. So it's very, very important, not only from a hiring perspective, generally also. Group discussion plays a very important role in life as well. So I would urge all of you to please encourage your students and your colleagues and friends to participate and to speak in group discussions as well. So with this, I end my session. Thank you very much once again, everyone. Over to you, sir. Over to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a very informative session, and also you gave the important key points how the GD have to be done, and also the do's and don'ts and how focused they have to be. And also it was a very informative session, sir. Thank you once again, and I thank all the organizers for arranging such a wonderful session. Thank you, sir.